Hi, so Komal Koul, I head up digital performance in Currys, which is actually quite a mixed bag of things I looked after. So obviously, I look after I have P&L accountability of all the websites, the B2B, the B2C, and the mobile website. But I also look after all of the merchandising, searchandising on these websites, customer operations. I look after performance marketing, so all the digital acquisition. And then recently, I've started looking after digital analytics as well. And I'm very passionate about how powerful data can be. So we could talk about that for days, but that is sort of my remit at the moment, what I'm doing. I have been with Currys for 13 years and I started in digital and moved around the business, did a lot of different things. And I'm back in digital 2 years ago. And I think I've never been more excited to be back in digital. It's a very, very good time
Love
to
this.
be working in this space. Yeah.
I'm very excited because we're going to, well, I guess really unpack all of the things that you're working on. But I'm super interested. Well, first topic, obviously you said, you gave it a special name and I've forgotten what you said now. The searchability on site.
Searchandising.
Yeah,
Yeah.
searchandising.
Yes.
Oh my God, I love that. So tell me, searchandising, what are you doing?
So searchandising is a combination of search and merchandising, right? So merchandising is pretty traditional. We have loads of events and promotions running through the year. How do we, communicate that to the customer? What do we do on our front end experience on our website that tells you what the offers are, et cetera, et cetera? Pretty box standard. Every retailer does it. And then search is your ability to come on the site and use the on-site search functionality. Now, I've been working in retail for 25 years, so this has evolved quite a bit over time. And what is new and exciting now? So traditionally, we looked at on-site search, and as the traffic moved more and more to mobile devices, when that became a really big thing, it's quite interesting. And I don't know whether you experience that. When you browse on the website, then you have a tendency to use like sort of your main navigation, but you go to mobile, lots of people don't do it. And the search button is there and people just tend to search for the products. And in the past, we've really focused on two things. One is relevancy, right? If you're looking for a search term, you go to a sort of fashion website and you say lipsticks, you want to bring back all lipsticks, right? And the other thing is ranking, which is sometimes that's where the business interest is. Do we want to show you the products that are most profitable first? Do we want to show you the products that have the most inventory? So it doesn't matter. Ranking rules can be configured. So that was your traditional search. And then AI happened a couple of years ago. I actually have an engineering degree and I did machine learning 20 years ago. So this isn't like a new concept, but the generative part of AI where it can identify patterns and answer your questions and, predict things and understand your intent, that has changed the way customers are searching. And I always say this, we've got to do what our customers are doing. And what customers are doing now is asking questions. So I come across all sorts of people now and I ask them, have you been using this in your personal time? And lots of people are building their holiday itineraries with ChatGPT now. I'm teaching my 13-year-old son on Claude now, which is very controversial. And I did tell him not to say that in his PTA. But, it's super simple. I'm a busy parent. I don't have time to look through books. So I just go to Claude and say, he's in year 8, blah, blah, blah. He's studying this topic. What does he need to know? What are the Q&As? So I think the behavior on how we are using it, plus we've all got a mobile phone in our hand. It's some of the things are getting built into that. The AI interfaces are built into Apple and Samsung technologies, Circle to search, using Lens, all of that, using image to search, what voice to search, what we call as multimodal search. So the nature of how we are searching is completely changing. And if you've been following, Google is the biggest search engine globally. Traditionally, they would show you a few sponsored paid ads on top and then followed by some organic rankings. And they were sort of algorithms that we've all, as retailers, been trying to crack for years together. And then they introduced AI overviews. And more recently, they introduced AI mode in UK. And that is taking quite a bit of prime real estate on Google's sort of front results, right? And that is because customers have found a new way of exploring some of their queries and answers. And the big difference, just if I bring it back, sort of contextualize what it means for Currys as a business is, for example, traditionally we could have seen customers just coming and looking for a laptop. And maybe now customers are coming now and saying, I want a laptop for my son who's going to university in the fall, right? So traditional search relevancy has just been based on our product data models, which will just have a laptop in their sort of attributes. But now how do we associate and say which laptop's relevant for a university student of a certain age in a certain sort of area, that information is not sitting in our data models, right? So therefore, some of the large language models are offering that now, saying that they can enrich the catalogs with this information. They understand, rather than just looking at the exact word or keyword, they understand the user intent, and therefore they can improve the relevancy of the results. So it's quite exciting. I will not name any of our partners, but we were seeing this demo last week, and they were showing us an American website where they said, looking for a dress for Coachella, right? Now, Coachella is not something that would be in your data set. Like you're not, when you're sort of doing your product setup, you're not saying this dress, Coachella. You're not doing that. But their large language model had the intelligence to understand what Coachella means, what kind of dresses are relevant for that festival, and then bring back that kind of results. So that kind of cement, this is where the customer is going. And I think Currys is at the very start of this journey, but we are exploring our optionality. But everybody is starting to build on-site conversations to kind of answer that kind of searches, which we call semantic searches or question searches or longer than 5 keyword searches kind of a thing.
That's so smart, by the way. I love that because that's exactly how I search now.
Yeah.
Like I'm looking for a dress for, Coachella or for Glastonbury or for whatever it might be. So what you're saying is this platform, I'm gonna find out off camera is for sure. I will share soon, guys, I promise. But this platform means you don't have to tag your content with Coachella or write about Coachella and it analyzes and knows the kind it's a festival and the kind of thing.
Yes.
So smart.
Because similar, if you think about it just very broadly, that is what the large language models is doing. What ChatGPT is doing is training itself on World Wide Web, right? It's looking at all the content that is available across all the websites in the world, reading that information, synthesizing that information, understanding your intent, and then bringing back relevant search results. So this is doing exactly the same, rather than just using your data models that actually, to be fair, are going to become, frankly, very limited very soon. It's looking at all the information that is available in the world and then associating and saying, well, this is what the customer is looking for. And therefore, I mean, I'm even simple examples like this is an example I use internally in the business all the time and is easy to understand. Let's say in the past, you would have searched for Bluetooth speakers, right? And because we tag our own data models with the word Bluetooth, it will go and search which products have Bluetooth in it and bring it back. But let's say now you're searching for, I want a speaker for beach. Now, beach as a word is not defined in our data models. We don't put that word in. So therefore, some intelligent AI or modeling needs to sit on top of that says, actually, beach is associated waterproof, and waterproof is a word we would use in our data modeling. So it goes and looks for everything that is waterproof and thinks, and by association knows that they are suitable for beach and will bring back those results. So this is where we are kind of going.
I love this. Very exciting. We've kind of covered off a lot of my questions now. Don't be sorry. This is perfect. As you can hear, I'm losing my voice. I've done way too much podcasting and probably drunk too much wine last night. So that's why. So in terms of AI and where it's taken, we've obviously unpacked insight search and I guess how people are the change in how we're all searching for products. What are you most excited about when it comes to AI in the future? When it comes to, I guess, marketing?
So there are several types of marketing. There's the marketing on site, which you talked about a little bit, but I'll talk a little bit about off-site marketing, right? So every business has got marketing budgets, and it is funny because there's always a healthy tension because it's a cost, right? It's a cost to sell, and nobody wants that cost to sell to be humongously huge and increase every year. And funnily enough, I mean, I've been managing marketing budgets for years, and they never grow, right?
Yeah.
It's like, we want to sell more, we want to do more, but your budget is the same. And it becomes increasingly challenging for businesses sometimes, and rightly so, because also the reporting and the measurement on effectiveness on marketing and attribution of that marketing it has been a very complex subject. Which part of your marketing is working? Where is the return on investment coming from? All of that.
And it's getting harder, right?
And it is getting harder. It's more competitive, more players in the market. It's never becoming easier. What I am excited about, though, is in the past, we have used human intelligence almost to say which retail media inventory to buy. And although there are some incredibly talented people who've done that over time, you still can't match the functionality that AI is unlocking. So back in the day, like when we worked with Google on campaigns, we did a bit of PMax and that increased efficiency. But now we are doing AI Max. And what AI Max does is you give it the money, you give it the goal, and then it goes and chooses your retail media inventory and to maximize that goal that you're trying to achieve. And that could be conversion, that could be clicks, that could be impressions, that could be return on investment or profitability. But what it's also doing is learning. And I think I'm most excited about the learning part, because in the past we've been a bit static, isn't it? We say, okay, let's build a campaign in a certain way and then that's it. But this real-time learning, I have built a campaign, you've asked me to invest in, it's like investing in shares in my head. Like in the past, I've said, well, let me build a portfolio of shares, 50% equity, 50% bond. And then it doesn't, and then you move the money around to see where you could. So this is like that. They go and buy the retail media inventory. And if, let's say, you're not achieving your goal and it needs quick optimization, or need optimization by hour, by day, by minute, the smart tooling can do it and can really drive that efficiency without requiring sort of so much manual intervention and manipulating the campaigns on a daily basis. The downside sometimes is, will the machine go and do something on its own that sort of, doesn't get you the outcome, or does something crazy, or spends your money somewhere you don't want to? But I think that risk is too far away just yet. I think there is a lot more options, time saving, with using things like AI Max with Google to go and buy inventory that really targets the areas you want to target and become really smart with it, smart with your money.
Yeah. But at last, I think there's going to be a lot of there's a lot. I think AI in a way makes it more complex for us to track exactly where the leads are coming from sometimes. But there are things like this that it's going to be able to make us much smarter at.
Yeah.
On that, we were chatting off camera just before about your focus on the commerciality side of things. And I think your marketing's often looked at as fluffy and fun, but the reality is marketing needs to deliver sales.
Yes.
It's a very commercial part of the business. Talk to me about, I guess your view on that and what you're doing to make sure that your marketing is delivering commercially.
Yes, 100%. I think this is a very complex subject, and I'm sure, I can talk about it in Curry's context, but I'm sure all businesses have this. There are, in my opinion, marketing, it's got different buckets, right? You've got to fish where the fish are. You have got your upper funnel marketing channels, which to me, that's like putting something on a billboard. Can you measure the effectiveness on a billboard? Not really, unless you make every person who crosses the billboard throw a tennis ball at it and thinking, oh, did you engage with it? It's impossible to tell, right? You put a billboard on a highway, it has an impact. How do you tell what impact it has? Do some of the middle funnel marketing activities, like when I do paid search campaigns on Google, very easy to measure, right? It's all tracked. I know how many people are clicking. I know how many people on the back of that sort of are buying a product. Very, very good. Then Curry's done a phenomenal job on social campaigns, right? But again, on a last click basis, incredibly hard to tell what impact social campaigns are. They're hugely popular. They will get millions of views, but how much of that is really translating into an order? So attribution of marketing is incredibly hard. We have various methodologies of doing it. One of the reasons that make this challenging is you need the same methodology across all marketing pots. Otherwise, you're not comparing apples to apples. And we are working towards it. I think we've got good partnerships, like we work with Game Theory on regression modeling. So that tells us on an annual basis some of the ATL, what's the return on investment. But it does it at the end of the year, looking back historically. So I find that always challenging. But if you're in peak, which was the subject I talked about at Retail Technology Show today, and you want to make a decision on your spend, you don't know, because you're not going to wait till the end of the year to see, look back. While as some of the mid funnel and like really low funnel metrics, like, affiliate codes we use on Publisher, like Quidco on top, cashback, immediate impact, we can do it there and measure the impact on sales. So difficult to measure. We've got different ROI metrics. And then sometimes we do dark trials, which sounds very boring. But basically,
What is this?
But basically, what we do is we completely switch off a marketing channel, and then we measure. Everything else stays the same, and then we say, oh, okay, So what was it driving that didn't drive? And
That's so interesting.
that is very interesting.
But scary.
But scary, because at what time do you do it? Because you will have some loss of sales. Is the business okay, just for understanding what this channel does, to switch it off completely and see what it does? Sometimes we do it by geography. We can switch it off in a certain area and then see. Sometimes we do lift tests, which is like we go to a certain area of the country and say, here, we're going to double the investment and see what that does. So there are various ways. I go to a lot of marketing summits, and it's a problem across the board. People are not able to. Even today, someone was on stage and saying they invest money with Meta. All of their business is based on social commerce. But which part of Meta is working? But sometimes, and what they said just rang true with me, which is, I think you've got to do the sum of parts adds up to something very good. So you've got to do a bit of everything. Because if you're a customer, I think you are influenced by multiple things you see and do. So you might be out and about and you might see big hoardings, big campaigns. You might see a social campaign that might stay in your mind. But when you're actually coming to shopping, you might use one of the search engines like Google and search up. But instead of curries, let's say John Lewis comes up, all up are like that, getting into consideration set marketing is wasted because you've now clicked on John Lewis instead of curry. So we've got to be present at the top, present at the middle. And then when you're very ready to buy, our proposition needs to be compelling enough and competitive to say, okay, this is a place I'm going to buy from. So there are methods to measure ROI. Is it perfect? All singing, dancing? No. But show me the money is important, because at least in curries, we are very disciplined around our marketing money. We are very disciplined in the sense that we will not do it in an unprofitable way. Let's just call it that. Yeah.
Oh, you're amazing. Your insight, and you have just inspired my thinking so much with everything that you've said today. Like, amazing. You're doing some really incredible things. And I love all the testing, everything that you're doing from a marketing perspective. Very exciting. I want to know, what's the thing that you've seen at the show? I guess my lasting question, what's the thing that you've seen at the retail tech show that has inspired you the most?
What I've seen, and I said I've recently started looking after data, and I've had this bugbear for like many years that I've got data coming out of my ears. Like, there's so much data in our business, or in the other 2 or 3 businesses I've worked. But that data does not translate into insight and recommendation at the speed that I wanted to do. And it has been my bugbear for a very long time. And yesterday I did a little walkthrough, and a lot of these are powered by AI, by the way. And what they're doing is, fragmented data is a reality. Like, lots of business I've worked in will say the data is fragmented in different sort of warehouses. It can't be combined. It's not stitched together. It can't be easily mined. It do anything usable. And that's the case. We are working on it, but it's a reality that data is fragmented. And then I saw lots of vendors yesterday who are using agentic AI sort of layer to ingest. Imagine you've got all of this separate fragmented data in different structures, and some system has a capability of ingesting all of this data. And then you have the ability in natural language to query that data now, right? So for example, I'll give you an example. Somebody showed this demo to me yesterday, which is they ingested all of the information from across different inventory systems, stock, trend, transactional history, blah, blah, blah. Then you go in and say, show me 3 things I need to do on my website today to improve conversion by 0.5%. And the system analyzes all of this data and comes back and says, if you take these 3 actions, you can improve your conversion by a point. That it's not humanly possible. I don't think people can do it. They could be very clever data scientists. They could build modeling. They could do so, but this is clever stuff, right? And imagine if that is then linked to your inventory and demand and forecasting, and it goes and informs those systems that these products are in real time selling very fast. Where are we with sort of, sending more stocks out to store or placing more orders with our vendors? It just becomes, the whole thing becomes like super smart. And then the other thing, which I saw, Ding Dong Fresh, Xiaoming Yang, he's moved on. He's doing something different now, but last year, which is, I don't know if you've heard the concept of dark stores in China, grocery. No. Okay. So this is end-to-end automated supply chain, totally powered by AI, reduces the waste, and literally predicts the customer demand based on season, festivals, weather, and it's for fresh food, and translates that information down the supply chain to the farmer. And it's excellent. It's the waste reduces. They just do it very smartly. They ship, their supply chain is sort of fully automated. So this kind of that stuff I'm really excited about.
Yeah.
Of course, that is, on the selling side, but this automation of data and sort of getting the data out, and really all our buyers, for example, are manually processing information, and therefore it takes them a lot of effort to then go and take that meaningful action. But if all of that was synthesized for you, the recommendations every day were given to you, here are the 4 things, depending on the goals you've set, here are the 4 things you need to do to move forward your margin, profitability, conversion, traffic, even on campaigns, right? Now there is a lot of tooling where I did an AI training, which was fascinating, maybe last year, where I wanted to learn prompt engineering. Basically, I wanted to see what is it all about.
I've got more questions.
More questions.
I have to ask you now. So I promise this is the last question. So I know you've got to get off. When it comes to AI prompting and the kind of prompt engineering training that you did, what was the best thing that you learned?
Lots of my sort of juniors now in the office, they're always telling me, how do we learn AI? And the best way to do it is just do it.
Yeah.
This is what I did. To download 6 to 8, they're free subscriptions. And then you become a bit more sort of seasoned. You can pay for, ChatGPT 5.0 if you want to. But just downloading free versions of everything and then have a little play around. And I think there is also, this is what I learned in the training, there's also something, every LLM gives you a different answer. It's trained on different data sets. It's also not an expert on everything, different thing, what DeepSeek could do, what ChatGPT, Claude, everything could be very good for something. And sometimes the best way to do it is, I can't remember the name of it now, which runs your answers on 4 to 6 parallel large language models. So you ask the same question and it brings back answers from 6 different models.
That I love.
Yeah.
I do that a lot. We're in between ChatGPT and Claude.
Yeah.
And I'll give it the same task, see what it comes up best with. Then I'll take the best of both, put it back into the other one.
No, but you can, I'll send you this afterwards. We could download that, and you can put your 6 LLMs in it that you frequently use, and it runs answers in parallel at all 6. And then therefore you can pick the best answer, the best fits. But the best way of doing it is, I've been saying to my teams recently that embrace it.
Yeah.
Whether we like it or not, it's happening.
Yeah. Go and play with it.
Go and play with it and see what you think and what businesses make out of it. I think I said that to you earlier. I think super passionate about, we've done a lot of talking. We've seen a lot of slideware. We have seen a lot of demos, but let's stop talking. Let's start building. Let's start doing. Let's start showing that this is generating sales, or this is, driving efficiency in the back end, or this is driving a better customer experience. I have some examples in UK, more in US, but I'd like to see so much more. And which may happen by the time we finish this podcast, probably 2 things have changed.
Yeah. Oh, cool.
It's so fast.
Komal, you have been incredible. Honestly, I want to live inside your mind. You've got so much knowledge and love it. Thank you so much for coming on, and enjoy the rest of the show.
Thank you so much. It's my pleasure. Yeah, it's been great talking to you.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
Amazing.
Thank you.